Okay, so this is part two. So now that I've gone through all of the deciding factors that we need to decide for our niche, I'm going to do my first kind of little area, which is going to be plastering. So, business model one is plastering. So, first things first, I'm going to go through profitability using our reverse engineering figures theory. So as we know, our total monthly overheads are around about this region. Now, if we're solely going to focus on plastering, we may well be able to bring this down in terms of public liability, in terms of kind of tools used. I'm sure there are certain kind of elements we can look at. So I was going to propose, for example, our rate per job for one day would be £600 per day. Now, if we were running one job at £600 per day, you'd be earning £3,000 per week, £150,000 per year, and the yearly profit would be, after our overheads, £56,100. Now, our materials, which I've said the average cost of sales for materials is around about 15% with plastering, as we know it's a very low margin, and on average about £150 to £180 per day for a labour for one plasterer. So after 1 year, if we was to just run plastering jobs at £600 per day, and now this is on the basis of working 5 days per week for 50 weeks of the year, so not accounting 2 weeks off, any time over that would be overtime and additional. Now, if we were running 2 jobs at £600 per day, that in turn would be £300,000 per year, and this would be the yearly profit. Now, with this, I've taken into account paying one person £170 per day, 5 days per week, 50 weeks of the year. And that would be the profit after that. Now, likewise, if we was to be running 3 jobs at £600 per day, this would be the per year, and this would be per profit, and then that is taken into account paying 2 people at £170 per day, 5 days per week, 50 weeks of the year, and that would be your profit at the end of the year. So the next things, margin. So we know that materials are very low cost, around about 10 to 15% sale ratio, competitive day rate for a plasterer. Now next, ability to delegate, which remember we do class as important, because if we want to create a business model that we're going to replicate, we need to be able to delegate it to other people. So if we're solely doing this, it would be fairly easy to build up a network of plasterers, whether they were employees or subcontractors, as there's a lot of plastering to go around once we tap into the right places. Now skill set. So we have the skill set and knowledge to be able to provide a high quality finished end product that we're proud of. Gap in the market. So the demand for plasterers is high, whether business to business or business to residential. We could have the ability to bridge a gap in the market by offering unique services, i.e. the aftercare package or spray painting onto plaster. If we kind of researched into it, then I'm sure we could find some sort of elements that would set us apart from the rest. Problems, what kind of problems might we encounter and how can we get over them? Again, there are certain parts where I'd need you to help me with these areas, but for example, I thought competition, perhaps rising damp. One thing to counteract that would be, for example, to actually be able to provide that service. Had a quick look online on courses, and you can actually do a course in Manchester, £150, and at the end of the day you get a certificate to say you're an approved rising damp contractor. Another thing, loose boards and that sort of thing, really it's just messy work. So, done general advantages and disadvantages for plastering. So advantages I'd say are high profitability, ability to tap into business to business, ability to tap into commercial, ability to manage and delegate, growing demand on the markets. We have the correct skill set. Overall plan would be for Jack and Simon to solely manage the jobs going on, and for us to have people that we're subcontracting the work to, and we'd need multiple jobs going on. Now, there's not any huge plastering firms like the equivalent of British Gas for plastering, so we don't really have a competitor in terms of growth, as a lot of plasterers, I would say, are mostly sole traders or smaller entities. Again, you may disagree. I'm not sure. This is just sort of from my kind of knowledge. So disadvantages, I've got tiring, grueling work. It's not enjoyable. It's messy. It's repetitive, and there is a lot of competition out there. So again, if there's anything else that you want to add in terms of advantages, disadvantages, but you see the general kind of outline I'm trying to do here in terms of creating a profitable business model, how we'd outline it, how we know what we'd be earning for the year, kind of seeing what problems we might face, how we'd fit into the market, if we've got the right skill, if we can replicate it. If there's anything else you can add to that, then please let us know and we can weigh that up along with the other ones. So that's it for me for plastering. I will upload the next one shortly.